I kind of saw myself here in a vision. I saw myself where I owned a business and I was sitting at a desk and my daughter was standing up and I was kind of moving out of the way and she was taking my place. So that was a vision that I actually had. You don't have to be a scholar to do art. You don't have to have a master's degree in art to do art. You just do what you feel. You do what you create. And that also, what I've seen, has made people feel happy and also built self-esteem. Hi, my name is Betty Proctor, and my daughter and I own a shop called Obsessions Gifts. When I first started this business with my daughter, we were doing jewelry. And so we had people say, start where you are, when you're with a business. And we really wanted to help teenagers, but we started where we were. And then it evolved into, oh, okay, well, we can do acrylic pours. Someone had told us about acrylic pours, and so we started doing acrylic pours. And then also my daughter, she is on the autism spectrum, and so there was a group where this doctoral student, she was doing a dissertation, and she was doing a dissertation on the effects of autism and art for females. And so this was during a summer. So my daughter went to the art class and she loved it and her communication skills increased. And so it was like, okay, we need to continue this because the dissertation, she had completed her dissertation, she was about to graduate, and then the class was no more. So I asked her, I said, well, can I continue this art thing? And she said, sure. So we started doing art classes with persons on the spectrum and with everybody. Really, a lot of the things that I do here is because of my daughter, or either the experience that I had with my daughter and I saw the effects of it. So I saw that it was really a good way of her being able to communicate. My daughter, she doesn't, when you talk to her, she doesn't say very much. And before, she wasn't really looking at people, and sometimes she doesn't communicate a lot. But when she's doing art, then even when she's sitting beside somebody, then there's still that even if it's nonverbal communication, or they may even look over and look at the other person's art and comment on that. So she felt comfortable doing that. And then we just wanted to build a way of communicating, and art really does help in that. That's what I've found. We have art classes, and we have had people to build friendships in the art classes. We've had people to say to us, this is our place. This is, this is what we love. Their guardian or their parent may bring them in for the art class, and they're like, okay, you need to leave, to their parent or guardian, because it's like, this is my time. This is my space where I can freely be creative and be who I want to be without judgment. And so that's what we want to create in here. We want to create a vibe where people can feel comfortable and also can express themselves without judgment. We sell products from local businesses, as well as we have events in our space. We also have spin art and splatter art and acrylic pour workshops. We share the building with Impact, which is called Motivating People Through Arts and Crafts. It's a nonprofit. And with the nonprofit, we help persons on the autism spectrum and also with disabilities. We provide art workshops. We also provide entrepreneurship opportunities as well as employment skills. So with the spin art, then they take their record and they put it right on here, the table, and then they'll wipe off whichever side they're using, and then they dry it off. And then that's when they start using the paints, whichever paints they want to put on it. Some people just make designs like hearts or circles. Some people make lines. Some people, this one young lady, she did alternate colors like red and black, and it turned out really, really nice. Yeah. So once you're finished, then you're going to take your record. Oops. Once you get all of your paint on, you're going to take your record, and when you're ready, you will take it and you will spin as fast as the more you spin, or the faster you spin, the more paint will fly. Yeah. So that's what you do. And yeah. So we had some FSU students, interns, that they were doing art on records, on vinyl records. And so we would do like painting and also just different things on there that people, whatever they felt like doing. And then this one little boy came up, and he was a teenager. He came up and he put some paint on there, and then he threw it like a frisbee, and it was like, oh. And so what I did was, okay, I was like, okay, let me come up with something where people can actually, instead of throwing it, they could spin it, like spinning records. They're actually spinning a record. So that's how we pretty much came up with it. And that little boy, or that teenager, he threw the record, and then it was like, wait a minute, come back next week and then we can do, something else. And so then I figured it out, and he started and he, spun the record. And kid you not, he made 3 records like that. He went over to the restaurant that was there before, and he sold all 3 of his records. So it's like, okay, now that, people like it. So that's how we came up with that. My favorite thing about spin art is watching the faces of people doing it. Because spin art is the messiest art that we have. And so their reaction to it is like, or either, oh my goodness, or either wow, or something like that. And so it's really cool seeing the paint actually fly off of the record. And some people, even with the paint flying off of the record, they even jump, they jump back or whatever. But it's actually seeing the record being spun and seeing the reaction that people get. And also being able seeing people know that, I could create a beautiful piece of artwork without, going to school. I am not knocking school. I'm just saying that, some people don't do art because they think that they have to have a certain technique. But here we want it to be able to have art where everybody and anybody can do and still be able to create a beautiful piece of artwork that they could put either on their office, in their home, or wherever. I'm really a social worker. I went to school for social work, but my sister, she is an art major. And so my family is very tight-knit. And so she's just a couple of years older than me. And so we would go almost everywhere together. And when she would go to conferences, art conferences, I would follow her. And she was always, of course, into art. And so she really got me into art. It is a huge transition because I went from a 9-to-5 job to here. Never thought that I would be a single parent, but I am a single parent. It's beautiful, one of the most wonderful things I've ever encountered. I would love to franchise this. That I really would like to see this throughout the state of Florida first, and then um, throughout the United States. I would like to show people how to do it. I mean, I'm not like an expert or anything, but I've been through some things with this business, and I can tell them some of the things to do and some of the things not to do from experience. But I would like to see this business grow, especially with the spin and splatter, and also incorporated in the spin and splatter and the workshops and the venue. I want to hire persons that are on the autism spectrum or either with disabilities so that they can grow and also grow into the business and maybe even open up their own franchise. This was a long way from where I'm a social worker. I always wanted to work with teens because teens have my heart. I've worked with all age groups, but teens are the ones that have my heart. And I always wanted to have something where teens could come and they could just feel comfortable and just vibe.